Well, you want to know the secret to helping any human being.
Your story is the secret to finding your purpose.
What stands between us and where we want to go is never what we think it is.
Rise and shine, it's espresso time.
I wake up every morning. Espresso keep me going. I wake up every morning.
Grab your coffee and sip on today's message from Mel Robbins. Also, if you want to learn to have more confidence, check out my 254 Confidence series. It's free. The link is in the description below.
Everybody's problem comes down to one pattern you're repeating that you can't see. And if you're somebody that's watching this and you have no clue what you want, I'm going to say that's total bull. You might want to get honest with yourself. Like, instead of doing this bullshit, I don't want to be a millionaire, I want to do this. Do you really? Because you can make it happen. You actually can. Look at all the idiots that are making money. You can make money. Well, you want to know the secret to helping any human being. It's actually really simple. The secret is to ask somebody where they're in conflict internally. Like, what are the things that trigger you? What are the things that you complain about? What are the things that you're afraid of? That internal conflict holds the secret to solving everything and becoming a better person. And all you have to ask yourself, or ask somebody if you're coaching them, is what happened to you? Not what's wrong with you, but what happened to you that you believe you don't matter? What happened to you that you believe that you're not good enough? What happened to you that you believe that you're not worthy, or that you won't be a success?
Right.
And everybody has a story. And here's the interesting thing. You don't have to find the first one. Because what happens in life is something happens to you, whether you are a victim of abuse, or you simply are in a classroom and you raise your hand and you say the wrong answer in math class and everybody laughs. And then you're like, oh, my new strategy is I don't talk in class. My new strategy is I'm introverted and shy. That's my new strategy because I'm going to protect myself. And it works. It works because you don't raise your hand and then nobody laughs at you. But over time, you start to feel that sense of like, there's something more. Why am I not talking? Why is this? And so you start to have a conflict with that strategy. And so the thing that you'll see is that human beings repeat behavior. So if you ask somebody what happened to you that made you start to doubt yourself, they'll start to find 10 or 12 or 20 examples of it, because it's everywhere. And when you finally start to address what happened, you can now have the self-awareness to create a new story, to start a new chapter, to see the old strategy and now consciously, you talk about consciously creating, consciously create a different response. That's what I do for people. I am helping people identify the internal conflicts that are making them miserable, that are ruining their relationships, that are destroying their self-esteem. And then once we highlight those, we pick a different strategy.
Right.
That's what we do. And, you know, anybody can do it.
Your story is the secret to finding your purpose. The thing that you feel is holding you back and that you're afraid of is actually the thing that you need to lean into so that you can help other people. Your purpose in life comes from your pain, and you can either succumb to that pain and let it control you for life, or you can use that pain to change the world. So my biggest pain was being an entrepreneur and struggling and suffering and making $300 a month and owning 30% of a company and turning down extremely high paying jobs to go off and be an entrepreneur and live the entrepreneur life. And I was too embarrassed and ashamed to tell my friends that I was struggling and suffering and not making any money. And I hated myself. And I felt like a loser. I felt like I was adding no value. I felt like I was getting up every day and working the entire day and not seeing my friends and not doing any other stuff that I wanted to do because I was so focused on building my business and I wasn't getting results. Like nothing was happening every single day. And I was tired of living way below the poverty line. And I told my business partner that I quit. And that was the worst day of my life. That one day when I decided that I quit. Eventually, I woke up the next day and I said, I can't quit. I'd rather know and fail than not know. And I'd ask myself, who else had done this before? Who else had built a software company? How can I learn from that person and model their success to build my own company up? But I love helping entrepreneurs now because I struggled so much as an entrepreneur. That was my pain. As I travel, I'm on this tour, 90 days right now is my last stop here in Cleveland as I film this. As I travel, my favorite thing to do in each city is meet the people. I don't care about the sightseeing and the food and anything else to do in the city. My favorite thing to do is meet the people. When people ask me, what is your favorite city? I'm like, I don't know, I like the people. Because I struggled so much as an entrepreneur, I want to give back and help out other entrepreneurs. And so I have a process called Who, Why, How. And if you follow this process, it'll not only give you your purpose for life, but also give you the mechanics of how to use that to help other people. So step one is who. Who is your one word? It's the most important core value. What do you stand for as a human being? What core value do you have that is more important than the others? For me, it's belief. Amazing. I could believe in anybody. Believe is a giant word. Great. How can I narrow that down? Who am I going to believe in, right? So the next process is the why, the who, why, how. So who is believe? Why is your purpose comes from your pain. My pain was struggling as an entrepreneur, and so I want to help out other entrepreneurs. Your purpose in life, your why, will come from the most painful moment in your life. Your purpose is to help other people who are currently going through that thing that you struggled so intensely with. If you have the ability to help somebody who's currently going through that massive pain that you went through and you pull them out, it'll be euphoric for you. It'll fill you up on such a level that I can't explain. And so I could believe in anybody, but I want to believe in entrepreneurs more than anybody else because that's where I came from. Then you get to the how. Who, why, how. How is how did you come out of it? So I got out of my funk as an entrepreneur by modeling Bill Gates, right? I looked at how he started, how he made his first million, and applied those strategies to my business to start to grow. So fast forward 20 years later, it's what I'm still doing. What do I do with my YouTube channels? What do I do with my content? I model success and I bring the best to you. The strategy that saved my company is still now the thing that I teach to other entrepreneurs and what I still do for myself. And so however you got out of the hole that you're in, right? You may not feel like you're completely out of the hole, that's okay, but you're further ahead than you were 5 years ago or 10 years ago. If you were to go back and talk to that person that you used to be 5 years ago, 10 years ago, what would you tell them? You can help that person. What did you do to get out of the hole you were in? Was it modeling success? Was it meditation? Was it running? Was it yoga? What was it? What was the thing? What was the thing that pulled you out? That is not some happenstance or some luck. That path that you took is a recipe, is something that you can teach other people of how they can get out of their hole as well. So you figure out your one word, your who. You figure out your why. Your purpose comes to your pain. Now you know what your most important core value is and who you want to help. And that's for life. Like I will not stop believing in entrepreneurs for life, ever. That's for life. So it's worth going through the exercise because you get to figure out this stuff that will serve you for the rest of your life. Then the how, because modeling success saved me, I now teach it to others. Whatever saved you, you can teach to others as well as a recipe. And that's a process that you can use. If you figure that out, your who, your why, your how, it'll help you for life. It'll help you turn the deepest, darkest, most painful moment that you don't want to look at, that you want to forget about. That was in the past, let's move on. It'll say, no, like this thing that you struggled with, it doesn't own you anymore. Now you own it. And you can use that to now save millions of people. The pain and suffering that I went through as an entrepreneur, I'm now using to help hundreds of millions of entrepreneurs who've watched this content. My purpose comes from my pain, so does yours, and I encourage you to go through the who, why, how process to figure out what you should be doing with your life. Now I've got a really special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy, but before that, question of the day, I wanna know, what is your why? What is the painful story that you came from, the people that you now want to help out? I'd love to hear from you. Put it in the comments below.
What stands between us and where we want to go is never what we think it is. It's not the economy, it's not the president, it's not that somebody already dominated the health food industry or dominated Facebook advertising or dominated TV advertising or there's no room left. It's never that. It's always the story we tell ourselves on why we can't achieve that. And if I wanted to boil it down, I would just say, what is your biggest why? What's your biggest goal that you would love? If it was a year from now and we were sitting here, you're watching this and it was a year later and it was the best year of your life, what would be the biggest thing that would have changed in your life? From money, income, family, love, intimacy, being a better dad, mom, whatever that is. If you say to yourself, I would love that goal. Like I'd love to have my company doing $1 million a year in net profit so I could have freedom for my family. Then just say but. And whatever that but is usually your story. It's like, I would love my company to be doing $1 million yet, but I live in a smaller town and there's just not enough people to do it. Or the internet's so saturated, there's no room to advertise on Facebook anymore because everybody and their brother's on. Whatever that story is usually your story, and that's the results you get. And that story is the thing standing between you and your next level. And I know people are watching right now going, oh, Dean, that's nice. You guys got money now, so it's easy. I don't have any money. I don't have a partner. I don't have any business experience. This economy's not right for what we do. And where there's that old saying, where there's a will, there's a way. If your story is that's what you'll continue to get. So what I would say is, if I was going to boil it down, is find what that story is. Now, to you, you might be saying, Dean, you're saying it's a belief, it's reality. And maybe it's phase 3, but reality is nothing more than our perception of a situation, right? We all know that. You've read that about it, you've watched it on Tom's show, everybody has said it, but maybe this is the first time you actually think about it, that reality you think is holding you back is really just the story. So there's 2 things I say, is go find somebody else with that same story. Like, go look at your evolution, where you were on your couch, no money, right? Go look at Richard Branson's story. Look at Tony Robbins' story. Look at, John Paul DiGiorio, or all the amazing books. I've read every book in there. That's amazing, the people that you've got to interview and meet. But read all those stories and realize that, first of all, that story you have is probably a lie, right? So if you can find proof, like leverage that it's a lie, that's one thing. But then the one that would get me is, I love aspiration. I love to look and say, look what you did, man. I want to get there. If he did it, I can do it. But sometimes you need the pain as well. So what I like to do is, I like to think, take that story and think it's 5 years from now, and think it's 10 years from now, and you're still in the same exact spot you are now. You're still worried, you still have envy, you still want more, you desire more, you want to take care of your family, you want to provide more. And think that story, those 2 sentences, is the thing holding you back. Do you really want to give that story that much power? And then think it's 10 years from now, and that story is still done. And all of a sudden, for me, I think, am I going to let that story stop me? I brought my son with me today. Am I going to stop from giving him the opportunities that I didn't? I have 2 children. I'm not raising entitled kids. I want to give him massive opportunity. I don't want to leave him a trust fund. I'm going to leave him massive opportunity and train him. I'm not going to let any story get in the way of me being that dad. And if a story pops up that says, hey, I can't make baseball this week because of this, I'll change the damn story. I'll fist fight with that story. And I'll look at the pain I'll have if I keep that story. So I love the aspirational part of, this story will stop me from my new life. But I also like, are you going to let that story screw you around for the next 5, 10, 15 years? I mean, man, we're going to be 90 laying in a bed looking up, like, before we know it. And do you want to think, I squeezed all I could out of life, or did I let just beliefs that other people gave me hold me back?
If you want to know what Mel has to say on finding the right group of people for you, go check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
You don't have to hang out with people you don't like. There's a pro life tip for everybody.